Hello, I am Nikki and I just want to share a little bit about meditation with you, the science behind the meditation, why it is good to meditate, just the journey of meditation. So you've got a little bit of insight before you embark on these meditations that I'm sharing. So perhaps a little bit first about the nervous system. Okay, the automated nervous system has different sides to it, but the main two sides is parasympathetic side, which is rest and digest. This is where you produce the calming hormones like dopamine, serotonin. Then you have the other side of the nervous system, which is the sympathetic side. That's the flight, fight, stressed, overwhelmed, over anxious, over analyzing, not really very nice feelings is generally being in that sympathetic side. Sometimes we don't even know if we're predominantly living in this sympathetic side because of childhood, of maybe the job or the work that you do with your children. You're very much in this sympathetic side because the hormones that are produced in this side is like the neuroadrenaline, the adrenaline to make you go, the adrenaline to help you push through tiredness, and the cortisol, which is the stress hormone, where you get over anxious and you can go into a space of anger and lose it. Okay, I've been there, so I know. I'm a mum of 3 kids, so learning to meditate for me has been the biggest gift that I could have given myself. So that's a little bit about the nervous system, okay? When we learn to meditate, when you go like into a state of relaxation, you're stimulating the parasympathetic side, which is the side that we want to be in more often than this other flight fight side that doesn't actually serve us, because it's producing the hormones and the chemicals in our body that are stress related, and that's often where anxiety and depression can come from. So when you meditate, when you bring the focus of your mind into the body, either observing the breath, observing the weight of your body, and I'm going to give you lots of different techniques, what happens is with the mind focusing on that, your breath can start to slow down. When your breath starts to slow down, you're stimulating into this parasympathetic side, okay? And there's quite a few different techniques that you can do to stimulate this nice, calm, rest and digest side. You digest your food better. You produce those nice hormones to feel calm and to reduce any hardships that are going on in life. So the mind, okay, so you need to just understand a little bit about the mind. So when we meditate, we're bringing the mind into conscious awareness. So think about if you're eating an apple and you're really keyed into the taste of the apple, and actually your mind just goes into just, you're not really thinking about anything, you're just really tasting the apple, you're smelling it, you're feeling the sensations in your mouth. That's conscious awareness. If you're in the bath and maybe you're smelling in an oil you've put in the bath, or perhaps you're listening to a piece of music, when your mind's not thinking about anything and you're in this space, I wasn't sure if I was actually filming there, when you're in that space of not thinking, you're focusing on that sound of music, or you're focusing on that smell, and you can just feel your body relaxing. That's another way to stimulate the parasympathetic side of your nervous system, the rest and digest side. So bringing your mind into the conscious, like now I'm talking to you, but I'm aware of the weight of my body sitting down on my seat. I'm aware of the air that's around my skin, touching my skin. So having this conscious awareness keeps your mind away from the unconscious part of your mind. Okay, so the unconscious part of your mind is the 1,000 thoughts a day that are being thrown at you, right? Depending on what you've watched on telly, conversations that you've had, maybe some drama that's playing out in life, perhaps the life that you're in at the moment, with perhaps being overwhelmed with juggling work or children, whatever it is, the unconscious part of your mind will just throw a barrage of thoughts at you, constantly analysing and throwing thoughts. So this also is is making you being in a state of doing. Your mind is constantly thinking and constantly full of stuff, and it can make us anxious and overwrought. But the good thing is we can train our mind to be more conscious, even if it's for only 10 minutes a day. And then you keep building on that, and then you start bringing it in more often. Like, you walk down a lane and you will look at some flowers and you might stop and smell them. That's being consciously aware of that moment, okay? And the more that we heal the mind, the more we become aware of each and every moment. And this is what meditation brings for you, as well as calming down your nervous system and helping with anxiety and all those other emotions that just are not working for us in our lives. Cause a lot of upset, breakdown in relationships and friendships, and the mind has a lot to answer for, put it that way. But meditation is a massive, amazing tool that you can bring into your life. It's free, okay? It's absolutely free. You just have to have a little bit of discipline, okay? And I'll talk about that in a minute. But I liken the mind, the unconscious part of the mind, to being a puppy. So if you think about a puppy, you've got it on a lead, you're taking it out for a walk. That puppy wants to go off and sniff everything. It wants to go off and sniff and do a wee under a bush, or it's going off sniffing everything. And you keep healing the puppy. You keep healing the puppy. You're training that puppy to heal, to walk beside you, to be trained. That is our unconscious mind. We're healing in the state of meditation. I'm not saying you do that all day, every day, but when you reside in your sitting position, when you commit to sitting for 5 minutes a day to bring the focus of the mind within, you're teaching the mind to heal. Okay, the mind's going to want to run off. The unconscious mind's going to keep pulling you out. And when you keep trying to heal it, the unconscious mind's going to say, you're rubbish at this, you can't do this, when's this over, what are you doing this for? It's going to give you a lot of judgments. You just keep bringing the mind back. Just forget what that unconscious mind is pulling you into and just keep coming back. And I'm going to give you lots of tools over these next videos that I'm going to be doing. So there was another point, but I'm sure I'll come to that. Okay, so that's the nature of the unconscious mind. So when you first start to sit and meditate with me, I'm going to do 4 different videos. The first one's going to be 5 minutes, then 8 minutes, then 12 minutes, and then 15 minutes. You can either do one a day if you wish, or you could do the first 5-minute one for a whole week or for a whole month. And then the next week or month, you could do the 8-minute one and build yourself up, okay? And within those videos, I'm going to give you lots of different tools that you can do to keep the mind focused in the body. So the style that I love is embodiment meditation. It's a bit like mindfulness, but with mindfulness, you allow the mind to really wander off and notice whatever you notice. With embodiment, you keep the mind focused on the body. Even if your mind wanders off or you hear something external, you're still using your sense of hearing, which is still an internal system, okay? So you still keep your mind focused within. So you need to practice. I say every day you practice. I've been meditating for 20 years. The first 10 years, very, very horribly, until I found mindfulness. And more recently, I've gone more into the embodiment style that I'm going to be teaching you. And that's really, really increased my meditative practice. And I'd say for the last 2 years, I've been doing it really well. I still get days where I sit and I meditate and the mind's a little bit busy, but I just bring in one of the tools, like maybe just touching my thumb like this, or just gently stroking my thumb. So my attention is noticing that sensation, okay? So I've got lots of tools, and I might bring them in on a specific day where my mind is just too busy, or there's been drama in the family and it's like my mind doesn't want to let go of it. Okay, we're human, okay? We have an unconscious mind, we have a subconscious mind, we have a conscious mind, all right? Different facets of the mind and the way it works. So the most important thing is you practice. The second, and you can do that in the morning when you wake up, maybe the kids are having a nap, maybe at lunchtime while they're eating, maybe in the evening before you go to bed. I really, really encourage you to practice in a space that's not silent, and not like, because you're not always going to have that available to you. So I actually think you should actually practice in and amongst your family life, okay? If you practice in pure silence, really, really silent, your mind can wander more because there's nothing to really attach your mind to give it the focus. I give you the focus of inside the body, but sometimes silence can be quite difficult. Then if you've learned in silence, when you then go to sit and meditate and there is noise, that noise is going to really, really distract you, and you're not going to want to do it or be able to do it. It's going to be more difficult. The second thing you need is perseverance. So every single time your mind wanders away, which is the nature of the unconscious mind, you're always going to have thoughts, even when you're sitting for 5 minutes, okay? So get rid of, oh, it's 10 minutes, sorry guys. Get rid of the idea that meditation is sat with no thinking, with no thoughts, because that's unrealistic. So every single time your mind wanders into a thought and you realize it's got lost in the thought, you have the perseverance to gently bring it back to noticing. My voice is going to be your anchor, your breath maybe your anchor, to just coming back into the focus of the body. And then you need patience, okay? So when that puppy has run off and you bring it back to heel, you're not going to kick the puppy, right? So you be gentle with yourself. You don't criticize your mind. Oh, I can't do this. Just gently have patience and bring it back, and then just refocus, okay? So I'm going to say namaste. Thank you so much for listening. Really important a little bit that you understand that your mind is going to wander. You understand why you're doing it, and then you have the experience for yourself. But thank you for joining me. Namaste.